The time is now 5:49 p.m. Good evening and welcome to the July 1st, 2024 Prince George's County Board of Education Virtual Special Board Meeting. This meeting is called for the purpose of determining the succession to the chair. Ms. Adeline, please call the roll.
Mrs. Adam Stafford,
Present.
Ms. Willa Strother,
Present.
Mr. Briggs,
Present.
Dr. Harris,
Present.
Mr. Jackson,
Present.
Mrs. Frazier,
Present.
Dr. Z. Miller,
Present.
Mr. Murray,
Here.
Ms. Walker,
Present.
Mr. Jamal Jongo.
Present.
With 10 members present, the July 1st, 2024 virtual special board meeting will come to order. Before we continue, I want to remind everyone to ensure that their wireless communication devices are turned off to avoid any technical interference with the taping of the meeting. To hear the meeting interpreted live in Spanish, please click the globe at the bottom of your screen. Ms. Jasmine Gutierrez, can you please make the announcement in Spanish?
Buenas tardes a todos. Gracias por haberse unido a esta reunión de la Junta de Educación del día de hoy. Entonces, para las familias que necesitan interpretación en español, pueden tocar el globo de interpretación y seleccionar español. Gracias.
Thank you. For those who are not able to observe now, the meeting is being recorded and can be accessed on the PGCPS YouTube channel for later viewing. Good evening, board colleagues, PGCPS administration, and the members of the public. Board Policy 9220 states, in the absence of the chair, the vice chair shall perform the duties ordinarily assigned to the chair. The purpose of this meeting, as stated in the call to order, is to determine who will succeed to chair until December 5th, 2024, which is the first Monday in December. I will chair the board meeting until a decision is made concerning that succession to the chair. Our focus remains the success of our 131,000 scholars with their well-being and academic achievement at the forefront, and the livelihood of our 22,000 employees that the board governs and oversees. As a diverse 10-person board, we have a collective responsibility to ensure that every decision we make serves their best interests. Colleagues, please be reminded that this is a special board meeting called for a single purpose. That is the only business that can be discussed during this meeting. As such, there is no agenda to consider. Board Member Frazier, would you please lead us in the board prayer?
Let us pray. O God, we pray to administer that which is just in all educational policies, being ever mindful of your guidance. Steer us to action with love, wisdom, and understanding. Amen.
Thank you, Board Member Frazier. The question is on the adoption of the Internet Standing Rules. If all board members have not yet seen the email that was sent today, I will read the Internet Standing Rules aloud. Standing Rules. Members shall keep their video on and remain on camera at all times, keep their microphone on mute until recognized by the chair, raise their hand icon and wait to be recognized by the chair, unmute their microphone to speak and mute it when done speaking. Members may speak twice on any motion for 2 minutes. Is there any discussion? Seeing no hands and understanding what the rules of this internet meeting are, Ms. Adeline, please call the roll.
Mrs. Adam Stafford, Ms. Willa Strother,
Aye.
Mr. Briggs,
Aye.
Dr. Harris.
Aye.
Jackson,
Aye.
Mrs. Frazier,
Aye.
Dr. Miller,
Aye.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Walker,
Aye.
Mr. Jongo.
Aye.
Did you want to call, did you hear Board Member Adam Stafford? Did you
Mrs. Adam
comment?
Stafford,
Aye.
Perfect, thank you. Hearing 10, there are 10 in the affirmative, there's 0 in the negative. The internet standing rules are adopted. Thank you, colleagues. We should enact those rules at present. Our first rule was to turn on your cameras. Thank you so much.
Point of information, it's telling me that we're in a practice session. Are we live?
Mr. Fitzpatrick?
My screen is showing that we are recording and that we're live.
Okay, sorry. Thank you.
No, thank you. Great, thank you. Board Member Lasai Frazier, Board Member Murray, Board Member Boozer Struthers, if you can turn on your cameras, please, so we can proceed.
My
Thank you.
camera is on.
Oh, you know what?
I have
Okay,
two
perfect.
entries because of connection.
Oh, got you. Okay, Board Member Lasai Frazier is, there it is. Okay, it's gone. And you have 2 connections, Pam. Thank you so much. All right, we are good to go. Thank you so much, everyone. Regarding board leader succession, the change on July 1st dictated by HB 1079 has created an ambiguity concerning the manner of filling the chair for the remainder of the term, which ends on December 5th, 2024. That being the case, the ambiguity will be resolved by putting the question to the members of the board. The question is, shall we elect a chair for the remainder of the term that ends on December 5th, 2024? A yes vote means the member wants to open nominations for the chair and hold an election for that position. A no vote means the members do not want to hold an election for that position and the vice chair will succeed to the chair. The question is, shall we elect a chair for the remainder of the term that ends on December 5th, 2024? Is there any discussion? I will receive you as hands are raised. All right, seeing no hands raised, shall we elect a chair for the remainder of the term that ends December 5th, 2024? Ms. Adeline, if you would please call the roll.
Mrs. Adam Stafford,
Aye.
Ms. Boozer Strother,
Aye.
Mr. Briggs,
Aye.
Dr. Harris,
Aye.
Mr. Jackson,
Aye.
Mrs. Frazier,
Aye.
Dr. Miller,
Aye.
Mr. Murray,
Aye.
Ms. Walker,
Aye.
Mr. Jungle.
Aye.
There are 10 in the affirmative. There are 0 in the negative. The motion to elect a chair for the remainder of the term that ends on December 5th, 2024 is adopted. We will hold an election. Please note that the chair will remain in her position as chair during the election, despite running for the chair position to which we are voting. There will be no access to the votes. The chair will not see the votes, tally the votes, or have any interference in the election process. We will also have to say that there's also a note that the vice chair has been elected for a 2-year term ending December 5th, 2024. The chair reminds the members, with there being 10 members, the vote necessary for election is 6 or more, a majority of the board. With more than 2 candidates on a small board, it will be difficult to obtain a majority vote. A member may nominate any member, including themselves. Nominations are open for chair. I will take you as your hands are raised. Mr. Briggs, you're on
I just
mute.
had a clarification. So if the chair is vacating, or if the chair is also going for the chair seat that's open, does that mean that the vice chair seat is open?
If you're asking if the vice chair needs to vacate the vice chair role in order to run for the chair position, the answer is no. The vice chair and the chair are elected for 2 years with the term ending December 5th, 2024. Additionally, are you satisfied, Mr. Briggs? Is your question been answered?
Assuming that that's legally accurate, yes. I'm gonna take your word for it here.
Well, no need to assume if I'm accurate. According to Robert's Rules of Order, the 12th edition, 4710, whenever a motion is made that refers only to the presiding officer in a capacity not shared in common with other members, or that comments or censors him with others, he should turn the chair over to the vice president or appropriately temporarily occupant during the assembly's consideration of that motion, just as he would in a case where he wishes to take part in a debate. The chair, however, should not hesitate to put the question on a motion to elect officers or appoint delegates or committee, even if she is included. The term of the chair and vice chair is for 2 years, which for the PGC Board of Education ends December 5th, 2024. Additionally, according to Robert's Rules of Order, 12th edition, 4631-1, second paragraph, the assembly is free, however, to elect the same person to another office on a subsequent ballot unless the bylaws prohibited a person from holding both offices simultaneously. In this case, our bylaws do not state that the elected chair and vice chair shall serve beyond the 2 years, as well as that the vice chair needs to vacate the seat. The seat is till December 5th, 2024. Has your question been answered where you feel it's legally right? If not, I can turn it over to the parliamentarian and the lawyer to be able to answer that for you.
Well, no, I just had one. I guess I had only one other question, because it seems like if the presiding chair were to get that approval of chair, then there would be the seat would be vacated. Just want to see a clarification from the parliamentarian around how that process works.
Mr. Swift, if you wanted to answer that question, please.
If Madam Chair runs for office and wins, she will at that moment be holding 2 offices at the same time, which will then be followed by an election as she resigns, I assume, from vice chair, and then we'll hold an election for vice chair. So it's just a matter of, it will take a couple of steps.
Thank you. That was helpful from both of you. Thank you.
No problem. Mr. Briggs, have you been satisfied? Okay, perfect. Board Member Adam Stafford.
Thank you. This is a procedural question. Earlier we had you ask the question, shall we vote? But we didn't have a motion on the floor or a second. So to the parliamentarian, do we need to go back and take that vote over? And then secondly, this, just for my clarification, did you say that this is going to be a secret vote in the open session?
Answer to the first question is no, we don't have to go back, Madam Chair.
Yes, if you wanted to cite, I think that's important for a small board, why we don't need to go back and have a second. I think that would be helpful for the audience and the board members, please.
In a small board, less than a dozen members, 10 being the magic number, seconds are not required, number one. And if a special meeting is called for the purpose of determining whether you need an election, then that is in fact the general order for that meeting. It's the only thing that you can at that meeting determine or consider. So there was no need to make a motion. It's already been given in the call of the meeting.
Thank you. And then there was a secondary question. Was that question answered to satisfaction, Board Member Adam Stafford?
Yes.
And then you had a second question. Can you remind me what that was, please?
I was just getting clarification. Did you state that we're taking a secret vote in this meeting?
I didn't state the rules yet, but there will be a link that will be sent. Thank you for the question. I will get to that inside of the procedure piece of what we're going through today. But to give you a heads up, there will be a link that will be sent to individual board members while we're here. So if you all wanted to pull up your email so that we can be timely on that, that would be great. And then it will go to our board director, who will tally the votes, and then he will put the votes up minus the person's name, and we will read the tally. Does that answer your question to satisfaction? You're on,
Mm,
okay.
I guess we were not informed about the format of the voting. So I was under the assumption that we were going to vote on the format of the voting.
Okay. If we want to vote on a format of the voting, then we can have a motion to vote on a format of the voting. Would you like to make a motion? Oh, we have a couple of other hands, but if you want to make a motion, I'm happy to entertain that.
Yes, I was just going to say, I move that we vote here in the public.
That we vote for, if you could be specific, that we vote on.
That we vote for who will succeed the chair in public by just a voice vote.
Okay. It has been moved
Madam
that,
Chair,
yes, thank you. Yes, Mr. Swift.
I don't think for an election a voice vote would work. I might suggest a roll call. vote.
And can you tell us why you are saying that?
Are you going to be able to count how many people say aye and how many people say no? How
Yes.
many people say aye in each case?
Oh, I see what you are saying.
It's
So
it's
what is the?
normally it's a counted vote.
A roll call vote.
Per
I-
person is what,
I'll amend it. I'll amend my move that we have a roll call vote
per
for
person.
who will succeed the chair. So if someone is nominated, then we'll just call the roll for the votes aye or nay if folks agree or disagree.
Parliamentarian Swift.
Madam Chair, if it's a roll call vote and there are multiple candidates, then each member will name the candidate.
Okay, so as they say yay or nay, they will say the person's name beside of
Simply
it.
state the name of your preferred candidate. And Madam Adeline will keep a record of it.
Thank you. Has everyone heard that motion that we state that as we vote in a roll call vote, that we state the nominee's name and your yay or your nay? Ms. Adeline, please call the roll. If you vote yes, you are aligned to, you are in agreement for this motion to pass for us calling out names. And if you vote no, you are not.
Madam Chair, I believe Board Member Dr. Miller has her hand up.
Yes, thank you for that. Dr. Miller?
Is this time for discussion on the motion?
We can discuss and then take the roll. Mr. Swift?
Motion to vote by roll call is not debatable. You either vote yes or no.
Okay, can I bring a point of information then?
No, ma'am, that's not in order.
Mr. Swift, previously, thank you, Board Member Miller. Previously, we had an opportunity to have discussion before board members were able to say yes or no. I know it might have been incorrect given our new number of 10, but can you help us understand why there is no discussion for this, please?
A motion to vote in a particular manner is referred to as an incidental motion, meaning it's incidental to procedure. Normally, there are those who are in favor of it and those who are not. It is simply a procedural question. The point being, there is no philosophical discussion on why we should or shouldn't. Some people like to do it, some people don't. If they vote no and it loses, they can select another method. But for incidental motions, and there are several of them, such as this, they are not debatable in RONR.
May I
And
ask
then
Mr. Swift a follow-up question?
Sure.
Ms. Parliamentarian Swift, so if there was a discussion on how the board would conduct elections in the past, I'm just asking this for clarification, and it was agreed that it would be secret ballot, this vote changes what we discussed December of last year, is that correct?
You lost me. I'm lost.
In December of last year, we had a vote that was a secret vote for the chair and the vice chair. What Board Member Zipporah Miller, if I could, Dr. Miller, is asking is we're changing that, correct? Dr. Miller, if you wanted to add anything additional to that.
Yeah, so for clarification, prior to even having that election, there was a discussion because we had appointed members in the chair seat, how we would conduct the election. So that was voted on by the board before we had the election. And part of it was in that motion that we would have it by secret ballot. So my question is simply that this changes that. So this, we can negate that procedure that we agreed on. This changes that.
I think the answer is yes, but Mr. Swift, he wasn't here last year, I don't believe, during this time. And so he's giving us the rules as to what it is now. But Mr. Swift, did you have anything additional to add to that?
Whatever you did in the past, I mean, it's history.
Yeah, he's helping to guide us in the right parliamentarian manner. But thank you for the question, Dr. Miller. Mr. Swift, is there a specific definition for ballot by way of elections?
No.
Okay.
I
thank
see,
you.
I'm a little confused here.
Oh,
No, a ballot nowadays, it's a piece of paper or an electronic piece of paper, which was what you intended in the first place. Mr. Fitzpatrick and others had agreed, set up the system. So ballot is an electronic ballot in 2024 as much as a slip of paper.
yes, it has been set up for board members to, we hadn't gotten to that piece, but it has been set up for board members to have been able to electronically vote for that. However, what the motion is on the floor now is to individually go by nominee, repeat the nominee's name and your vote. That is the motion on the table. Mr. Fitzpatrick, if you would please call the roll. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Fitzpatrick, I apologize.
fine.
1 second. Not you.
Mrs. Adams Stafford,
Aye.
Ms. Boozer Strother,
Aye.
Mr. Briggs,
Aye.
Dr. Harris,
No.
Mr. Jackson,
Aye.
Mrs. Lasagne Frazier,
Aye.
Dr. Miller,
Aye.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Walker,
Aye.
Mr. Jongo.
No.
With a vote of 7 in the affirmative and 2 in the negative, we will move forward with this vote. As stated.
Chair,
Yes,
I believe that it was 8 in the affirmative. I
thank you.
record say 8-2.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. We will vote, we will begin our vote. Let me just go back. We will now open up the nominations for chair. I will receive you with the hands raised. Ms. Boozer Strother.
I nominate, excuse me, I nominate Lolita E. Walker.
Thank you. Ms. Lolita E. Walker has been nominated for chair. Ms. Adeline, if you would please call the roll.
Madam Chair.
Are we only having one candidate?
No.
I-
I thought that we were going, according to what we just said, we were going, once one person goes, then we'll get the numbers and then we'll go to the next.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Swift.
while the nominations are open, any member can nominate any other member. So you'll have a list of nominees.
Excellent.
And then
Thank
when
you
the
so
roll is called, each member will indicate their preference.
Oh, at the same time.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. I got it. I misunderstood it. Thank you so much, Mr. Swift. Board Member Adam Stafford.
I nominate Brandon Jackson for chair.
Brandon Jackson has been nominated for chair. Thank you. Are there any other nominations? Ms. Adam Stafford, did you have another nomination? Oh, okay. Your hand was still up. Perfect. There being no other names, nominations are now closed for chair. The two candidates for chair nominations are Lolita E. Walker and Brandon Jackson. Now, Ms. Adeline, will you call the roll?
Mrs. Adam Stafford,
I just had a question. Were each of them going to get a chance to speak, or as we did previously?
Mr. Parliamentarian, is that necessary for this vote? I'm happy to.
Yes, the wrong person. Is it necessary? No,
Oh,
but if
Mr. Whitley,
if the
sorry.
assembly wishes, I mean, it's
Yeah.
up to the assembly.
Yes, we could take a vote for us to, if you want to make a motion, Ms. Adam Stafford, for us to do 2-minute speeches, please do.
I move that the candidates give 2-minute speeches for their candidacy for chair.
Thank
Without
you.
objection,
I'm sorry, Mr. Swift.
without objection.
Without objection. Thank you. Mr. Fitzpatrick, if you would please call the roll for the speeches.
Madam Chair, I think the
Without
parliamentarian just
objection is
asked if it
done.
was without objection, so
Oh.
it wouldn't need a roll call.
If
Even
if there's no objection, we will allow the speeches. There being no objection, the speeches are allowed.
Awesome. Okay. And
I'm assuming there was no objection.
I am too. Are there any objections that anyone has? Dr. Miller, thank you. You have a question?
I was asking a question, sorry. I don't
No
have an
worries.
objection.
What do you have?
So I want to go back, not to belabor this. We had gone through all of the procedures for conducting a vote. Mr. Parliamentarian, help me understand, and if I'm being redundant, then I will stop. We had talked through every single procedure. If you telling me everything that we discuss every time we have an election, we need to go through new procedures? Is that? Because we talked about speeches, how we would vote, all of that was done in December. So am I to understand that every time we have an election, we need to go through a process to understand how the election will be done prior to the election?
If the board does not adopt procedures for doing such things, as in writing, then whenever an election is held, or as a matter of fact, a motion is presented, any member can make a motion that the vote be taken by ballot, by roll call, by voice, by rising, and without debate, the members vote on it and decide. It's easy enough to do, but put down in writing what you want the procedures to be and have the board adopt it as one of your rules of procedure.
So Attorney Whitley, correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding was we were charged to adopt procedures for elections during that time. And if Mr. Swift is saying is correct, because if we're going to go through the procedure one at a time, I'm fine with it. I'm okay with changing the procedure, but I just want to know, then are we negating every procedure that we adopted before?
The procedures we adopted previously were for that specific election. What Mr. Swift is saying, if the board wants standard operating procedures for every election, we need to adopt standard operating procedures for every election. There needs to be a bylaw or a policy that says every election will happen in this manner.
Thank you. Thanks for the clarification. I appreciate you.
My pleasure. I believe we're able to move on to the speeches.
If you're speaking, Madam Chair, we can't hear
Oh,
you.
thank you. I was speaking. I wanted to first give a reminder to Board Member Adam Stafford, Board Member Murray, to please turn on your cameras as per our internet rules. And then we can move forward if there's no additional questions for our speeches. Great, I see no hands. I'll go first, since my name was nominated first. Is that proper protocol, Mr. Swift, or do we have to flip a coin or do something?
No, you're correct, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. Board members, I did not prepare a speech, but I'm happy to speak to you. I have proven leadership on this board. I have been nominated by you by an 8-person vote on the first time to be your vice chair. I have led inside of this role according to policy 9220. Then in the absence of the chair, I move into that role because you have committed your dedication to me and my leadership capabilities as your vice chair. I look forward to serving you and to really making sure that we can fully satisfy the needs of our 131,000 students in Prince George's County, as well as our 22,000 employees that are here depending on our success. Again, I have proven leadership not only on this board that each of you all have seen and experienced, but also in many other boards, as well as corporate, my own business, et cetera. So I look forward to working with you all and facilitating the work. The work of the board chair is to facilitate the work of the board, and I intend to do that in my everyday with each and every one of you all, while we also shift the culture to an inclusive and action-oriented culture where we have our students facing forward at all times. So I just thank you so much, and I look forward to your vote. Board Member Jackson, if you would like to give your speech. We're unable to hear you at this time, Board Member Jackson. Can you hear us? No worries.
Hello?
We can give you time. There you are. Perfect. Thank you.
All right, good. I don't see the 2-minute mark. Make sure.
There you go.
All right, dear colleagues, we can either continue to fight with each other or we can fight for our kids. There's not enough energy to do both. And during my tenure, I've been focused on the latter. In my tenure so far, I championed an audit committee from the ground up to help us have better visibility on a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. I've testified at the General Assembly on a piece of legislation I worked on with senators and delegates to create parent engagement leave. Parents should never have to choose between going to work and participating in their child's academic experience. I've helped to create the Safe Passage Project to make sure our kids get home the same way they left. And I also connected with Central High School, and collectively we stood up with the PTA to fight the tobacco stores in the community that were selling vape pens to our kids. I can go on and go on about the different legislative wins and initiatives that I've done so far in my 1.5 year, almost 2-year tenure. But what we need for this board is to stay focused on the actual work. We need a smooth transition, a peaceful transition into an all-elected board. I promise to keep the main thing, our scholars. I'll focus on streamlining administrative things to help become more efficient with our time. I will be hyper-focused on financial integrity and stewardship. I will lead with compassion and respect. Colleagues, please help me to create a peaceful and smooth transition to an all-elected board. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Board Member Jackson. Colleagues, you have heard from both of your nominations for chair, and we will call the roll. Please don't forget that when you are voting, you will say Lolita E. Walker, yay or nay, and then you will say Brandon Jackson, yay or nay. Mr. Swift, I do have a parliamentarian question. Can board members vote for 2, or must they vote for 1? I would assume 1. I just wanted to ask.
1.
Thank you so much. Are there any other questions before we get going? Because we're about to vote for our chair. Thank you so much. Mr. Fitzpatrick, will you please call the roll?
Mrs. Adam Stafford,
Lolita E. Walker, nay. Brandon Jackson, yay.
Please
Ms.
just call
Boozer
out
Strother?
the candidate of your choice.
I think we were talking at the same time. He asked, you can just say the name of the candidate of your choice.
Okay.
Ms. Boozer Strother,
Lolita E. Walker, yay.
Mr. Briggs,
Brandon Jackson.
Dr. Harris,
I'm sorry, can you
Lolita.
please say yay or nay with your choice, please, Mr.
Yeah.
Briggs? Thank you so
Brandon
much.
Dr. Harris,
Lolita Walker. Yeah.
Mr. Jackson,
Brandon Jackson, yay.
Mrs. Lasalle Frazier,
Lolita Walker, yay.
Dr. Miller,
Board Member Lolita Walker, yay.
Mr. Murray,
Brandon Jackson, yes.
Mr. Jungo,
Brandon Jackson, yes.
Ms. Walker.
Lolita E. Walker, yay.
Madam Chair, there are 5 votes for Brandon Jackson and 5 votes for Lolita Walker.
Thank you so much for those votes. We will take another roll call. Please call the roll. I'm sorry, we have a question from Dr. Zipporah Miller. Oh, no, she does not. Thank you so much.
Mrs. Adam Stafford,
Brandon Jackson, yay.
Ms. Boozer Strother,
Lolita E. Walker, yay.
Mr. Briggs,
Brandon Jackson, yay.
Dr. Harris,
Lolita Walker, yay.
Mr. Jackson,
Brandon Jackson, yay.
Mrs. Lasalle Frazier,
Lolita Walker, yay.
Dr. Miller,
Board Member Lolita E. Walker, yay.
Mr. Murray,
Brandon Jackson, yes.
Mr. Jungo,
Brandon Jackson, yes.
Ms. Walker.
Lolita E. Walker, yes.
Madam
Lolita
Chair,
Walker, yes.
Madam Chair, there are 5 votes for Brandon Jackson and 5 votes for Lolita Walker.
Thank you so much for that count, Mr. Fitzpatrick. It appears the board is undecided at this time. Colleagues, there are several options available to us. Please listen to each option carefully as we will have a vote on these options. Option 1. The first option is to fix the time to which to adjourn to a time before August 29th, 2024, our next regularly scheduled board meeting, and continue this procedure. Option 2. The second option is to adjourn this meeting and continue the procedure at the August 29th meeting. Option 3. The third option is to reconsider the vote on the motion to elect a chair for the remainder of the term that ends on December 5th, 2024, in order to overturn the original decision held to hold this election. I will repeat these again because we will vote on each of these options individually per option. If one option receives a vote of 6 or higher, we will choose the highest vote of the majority at the conclusion of the individual votes. I will read each of these options again because we will vote number 1, number 2, number 3, or number 4. Board Member Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to ask a question. Where does these options come from, and who created the ceiling of how many rounds we can actually go? Because I know we've alluded to the past several times, but whoever we didn't have a cap on how many rounds we can go. So this is new information that we only can go, I guess, was it 2 rounds, and then have these options to move forward? Like, so who made that decision tree? So I kind of want to know a little bit more about that. if you allow Mr. Swift to address that question.
I can address it and Mr. Swift can add on where he sees fit. Thank you for the question. Good question. What we've seen in our past is that we can tend to go until very late on votes. What we've seen for these two is that we have 10 and 10 both times. So we give ourselves options. Who decided to? I, as the chair, have decided to. Because we see 10 and 10. We have several options that can lead us forward in making a vote happen tonight, which is all of our goal. And Mr. Swift, would you like to add anything additional?
Hold on, before Mr. Swift goes, so let me just piggyback on that, is that one, I think that may be an inherent conflict of interest by you creating a limitation or maximum how many rounds, being as that you're, a candidate for the position. And then two, as far as the options were concerned, I think it may be a little undemocratic to develop the options yourself. And I'm assuming that you developed these options, or did you work with Mr. Swift, without having the full board aware of the different options that were available? Because we could have also added various options as well. So I just
Thank you for
wanted
the
to
question.
clarity on that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much
Swift.
for the questions.
Thank
It is an assumption that I created the options. I did not, but I appreciate you thinking that I did not. The options were created by our parliamentarian, and he can add to that in a second. The time limit, just to say the conflict of interest from me being one of the candidates today. Mr. Swift can say if there's a conflict of interest, I see none. But the reason we can continue down this road, which is why that's one of the options here, that we continue in hopes that someone might shift so that we can, and you can vote for that as one of the options. Mr. Swift, did you have anything additional to add by way of how these options came to be?
Madam Chair has been operating on advice that I've been giving her, which is out of Roberts, RONR. And it does point out in Roberts, as Madam Chair mentioned in the beginning, that this is not a conflict of interest, in that Madam Chair doesn't have her fingers in the pie as to how you vote. There's no difficulty with it. The options you were given after 2 rounds, Madam Chair has given you an option, one of which is to keep voting. And if you vote for that, then you keep voting. One is that you fix the time to which to adjourn. One is that you adjourn. One is that you reconsider the vote on the original motion to vote. And of course, 4 is, to continue with the voting. It's not a matter of selecting them. They are the 4 options that you have. There is no other option. But those options will give you, if you want, depending on how the assembly votes, they will give you the ability to continue voting all night long, 5 and 5, 5 and 5, or take steps to, back up, regroup, whatever you want to call it. But in parliamentary terms, give you other options to finish this at another date. Are there any questions on that?
Mr. Jackson, was that a satisfactory answer, or did you have anything additional that you wanted to add?
No additional comment at this time.
Thank you so much. Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Madam Chair, I believe Mr. Whitley was trying to raise his hand, but was malfunctioning.
Oh, thank you. I didn't see that, Mr. Whitley and Dr. Miller.
Madam Chair, I believe the issue's been resolved, but I believe the Mr. Jackson's question may have been prompted, but I don't believe you gave the 4th option when you were going through the options originally.
I didn't?
I don't believe so. I think that may have prompted Mr. Jackson's question.
Oh, okay. The 4th option is to continue the procedure at this meeting until an election is completed. I apologize if I didn't read that. I thought I did. Thank you, Mr. Whitley, for bringing that clarity. Dr. Miller?
Mine was, sorry, thank you for recognizing me. Mine was, I wanted just some clarity on what the 4 options were. So before we begin voting, if that's the route that we go, if you can just, you or a parliamentarian can just go through them step by step so we know exactly what we are voting on.
Absolutely. I can read each of the four again, but don't forget that when we vote, we'll go one by one by one. So you don't have to really remember all four all at once, okay? So I'll read what the four are, then we'll go one, then we'll vote, then we'll go two, then we'll vote, we'll go three, then we'll vote, we'll go four, then we'll vote. And the highest of the majority, 6 or more, will be how we proceed as a board. Does that make sense, Dr. Miller? Okay, Mr. Parliamentarian, did you have anything additional to add that I might not have said? Please.
No, ma'am, unless they want me to explain the functions of the particular motions.
Is that a request? Yes, Dr. Miller is saying, yes, that is a request to explain the functions of the motion. And then after that, Mr. Briggs, I see you. We'll come to you next. Thank you. Parliamentarian.
The first option was to fix the time to which to adjourn. It's one of the standard, one of the 96 parliamentary motions. It means the assembly would adopt a motion fixing the time to hold another meeting to do the same thing. And that meeting would be before August 29th. So let's say next week, for example, you fix the time to which to adjourn to next Monday at 5 o'clock, and then you meet there and continue your voting. The second option was to adjourn, which is the normal motion. You adjourn and go home and wait until August 29th. The third option was to reconsider the vote on the original question, which was to hold an election, which was adopted. If you reconsider the vote on it and then it loses, then you don't hold an election, you keep your chair. And the final option, which is, I would say in plain English, is to do nothing. You move to continue voting, and then you keep voting all night.
Thank you so much for the clarification.
I can't hear you, but I think you acknowledged me, so I'm gonna go. Just want to clarify if we could vote on, if you've already answered this, and apologies, but if we can vote on one option more than once. So can I vote on option 1 and option 4, or can I only vote for one of them?
You can vote for more than one. The one that takes the majority, which is 6 or more, we will do. Let me ask the parliamentarian just to make sure I'm right. Is that right, Mr.
Yeah,
Parliamentarian?
in fact, everybody should vote on every one of the motions.
Thank you. Any additional questions or discussion before we move to voting per option? Okay. Hearing none, we will go one by one. Option 1, the first option is to fix the time to which to adjourn to a time before August 29th, 2024, our next regularly scheduled board meeting, and continue this procedure. Mr. Fitzpatrick, will you please call the roll?
Madam
This is
Chair,
Adam Stafford.
Yes, 1 second. I'm so sorry. I didn't see you, Mr. Whitley. Yes, Mr. Whitley.
if we're gonna fix the date, I think we need to fix the date before we take the vote.
My thought was that if we fix the date, then we will come to an aligned date, but I'm happy to do it before. Mr. Parliamentarian, is there any pushback to doing it before?
No, Madam Chair, you can do it now or later.
Let's do it now. Let's get it right so everybody has everything they need. If we want to pull up our calendars, please. Our next meeting date is the 29th. However, just for transparency, I will be asking us to switch the 22nd and 29th so that we can have our board meeting on the 22nd, so that we can hear transportation updates before our scholars go back to school. So I think we should try to find one before the 22nd. If we can look at our calendars, we are off by way of our bylaws for the month of July, right after this wonderful meeting. So if somebody wants to, let me just call out a date. Let's go to July, please. Let me get there. All right, let's start. Let's go to August. Did I say July? I meant August, everyone. All right, let's start with the first week of August. Does everyone have their calendars up? Anybody need us to wait for a second? Okay, so the first week of August is the week, it starts with the Thursday, Thursday the 1st. Hold on. Okay, perfect. How is August the 1st? Is a Thursday? Is anybody opposed? Let's just say that. Open up your mic so we can get through this. Is anybody opposed to August the 1st? That's Thursday, August 1st at 6 o'clock. Ms. Lasai Frazier?
I won't be available for voting during that time.
Thank you so much.
I wanted to propose that we look at the same week that we're meeting, like maybe that Monday, the 19th.
Okay.
Just
There. Great suggestion. 1 second, let me just get there. So I am going to request that we flip the hearing and the board meeting from the 22nd to the 29th. So the week of the 22nd starts Monday, the 19th. We can start on that week. Are there any abstentions to Monday, the 19th? Board Member Lasai Frazier, did you still have your hand up? Okay. Are there any abstentions to Monday, the 19th? Hearing no abstentions for Monday, the 19th, we will move forward with option 1 being Monday, the 19th, okay, August 19th. The first option reads, the first option is to fix the date to Monday, August 19th, 2024. For a scheduled vote for our chair. Yes, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for recognizing me. My question is that do we have to wait until August? What is it possible that we can convene in July?
We're off
This
in
month.
July per our bylaws.
Well, it's July 1st today.
It is. And so after this meeting, we'll be off until August the 1st.
But okay, I don't want to be contentious. I'm just saying that it's July 1st now. So according to our bylaws, we probably wouldn't have this meeting either then, right?
I imagine that there's a lot of travel that's happening during that time. If you wanted to propose a date, then you can throw out a date and we can see if there's members that's available in July. July 13th through the 29th, I will be, I can vote virtually, no worries. I will make it happen. Did you want to throw out a date?
Yeah.
Based on your calendar?
Yeah, let's do that. So let's maybe we can give 2 options and see which
Sounds
if you
good.
leave 13th, then maybe we can look at 7/12.
Please don't do it on my schedule. I will absolutely call in from California.
Okay.
What date did you say?
Let's try 7/12.
Are there any are there any concerns with July 12th? It's a Friday. Friday, July 12th.
Checking my calendar, so give me a second.
Board Member Jackson, if you could lower your hand, unless I know you don't have any conflicts with this date. Board Member Lasai Frazier.
Sorry to be difficult. With my regular job, I'm an administrator in the school system and I have a retreat set up for that day.
Thank you so much. Board Member Zipporah Miller. You're on mute. Board Member Zipporah Miller, you have your hand up?
Sorry, I have a standing meeting on that particular Friday, so I will not be in the evening and I won't be available.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. We have more for the other date, the August the 19th. Brandon Jackson. Yes, sir.
What about the 11th? And what will you be in a board meeting? The rest of everyone. What about the 11th, the day before? That's a Thursday.
Can you, just really quickly, while people are looking at their calendars, Mr. Jackson, can you share the urgency of determining a chair if before the date of August the 19th?
Yeah, I mean, that's just a long time for, I guess, for us not to have decided on a chair. Also, I mean, I think it goes along the same thought process of why delay it versus why make it more recent, I guess, or sooner. So I think it's along the same lines. I just think that we should probably handle our business so we can just go into the rest of the summer and just focus on preparing to make next school year better instead of waiting on, what who's going to lead PGCPS on the way to the next school year.
Thank you so much. I don't think it's on the same lines. I had explained earlier that the August date was to accommodate our bylaws that state we're on break. Just wanted to make sure that that was clear. Ms. Lasai Frazier, did you have anything additional for the 11th? Okay, Dr. Zipporah Miller.
Give me 1 second. I have something, but I'm looking.
I just wanted to ask a point of information. This would be on Zoom, right? And this would be in the evening?
Yes,
Okay, thanks.
no problem. Are there any other, we don't have to wait on Dr. Miller. We can just ask if there's any other abstentions to Thursday, July 11th for the vote. This is for option 1, everyone. We have 3 more options to go through. Hearing none, Dr. Miller, are you all set for that date?
Yeah, I don't want to belabor it. I do have a meeting, but I'm not sure exactly what time it ends, so it'll depend on the time that meeting is called for.
Is there a risk that you will not be able to make a 6 o'clock meeting?
Could
Or
be,
6:30,
just like
sorry,
today, yeah.
or 7
yeah.
o'clock meeting? What did you say? I'm sorry.
Could be maybe later than that, but not 6:30 could be okay.
What's your recommended time, please? And Board Member Adam Stafford, if you could adhere to the internet rules of your camera being on, that would be helpful. Thank you so much. Dr. Miller, did you have, no worries.
At this time, I can't for medical reasons. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Miller, did you have a recommendation for a time?
On that day, 7:30.
Is anybody opposed to Thursday, July 11th at 7:30 p.m.? Excellent. Thank you so much. Hearing no abstentions, then we will continue forward with option 1 being, let me put in Thursday, July, what was it, 11th? I think so. 11th, 2024 for option 1. Option 1 now reads, the first option is to fix the time to Thursday, July 11th, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. To continue the procedure. I will go through each of the options in case there's anything additional before we start the vote. Option 2 is to adjourn this meeting and continue the procedure at the August 29th meeting, knowing that I want to switch it to August 22nd so we can be updated for transportation. Are there any questions on what this motion means or when we vote what this means? Okay. Option 3 is, the third option is to reconsider the vote on the motion to elect a chair for the remainder of the term that ends on December 5th, 2024, in order to overturn the original decision to hold the election. And option 4, the fourth option is to continue the procedure as we are doing now in this meeting until the election is completed. Is everybody clear on all 4 of the options? We will now go one by one and receive the votes of yay or nay. A yay means that you agree with the motion as read. A no means you do not, as read. Option 1. The first option is to fix the time to Thursday, July 11th, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. and continue the procedure. Mr. Fitzpatrick, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Adam Stafford,
Aye.
Ms. Boozer Strother. Ms. Boozer Strother. Mr. Briggs,
Nay.
Dr. Harris,
Aye.
Mr. Jackson. Mr. Jackson. Mrs. Lasalle,
Yeah.
Mr. Jackson.
Yay. Sorry. Yay. Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, thank you.
Oh,
Mrs.
sorry.
Lasalle Frazier,
Nay.
Dr. Miller,
Yay.
could you repeat your vote, Dr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Mr. Jungo,
Yes.
Ms. Walker,
No.
Ms. Boozer Strother,
No.
I have 7 for option 1, which is to fix time to Thursday, July 11th, 2024 at 7:30 PM to continue this procedure. Option 1, yes, I have 7 recorded, and no, I have 3. Is that what you have as well, Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Madam Chair, I have 6.
6.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Option 2, are you repeating the motion or would you like me to again?
No, we will repeat the motion. So you had 6 to 3 for option 1?
6 to 4.
No, okay. Thank you. Thank you. We will move on to option 2. The second option is to adjourn this meeting and continue the procedure at the August 29th meeting, knowing that I will move it to August 22nd. So it will be August 22nd meeting. Mr. Fitzpatrick, will you please call the roll? Thank you.
Mrs. Adam Stafford,
No.
Ms. Boozer Strother,
No.
Mr. Briggs,
Aye.
Dr. Harris,
Aye.
Mr. Jackson,
No.
Mrs. Lasalle Frazier,
Yes.
Dr. Miller,
No.
Mr. Murray, Mr. Murray, Ms. Walker,
No.
Mr. Jungo,
No.
Mr. Fitzpatrick, I counted 3 for yes. And I counted 6 for no.
that is correct.
Thank you so much. Colleagues, we will move forward with option 3. 1 second, did I? Option 3. The third option is to reconsider the vote on the motion to elect a chair for the remainder of the term that ends on December 5th, 2024, in order to overturn the original decision to hold this election. Mr. Fitzpatrick, thank you for calling the roll.
Mrs. Adam Stafford,
I'm sorry, could you just repeat that one more time?
Absolutely. The third option is to reconsider the vote on the motion to elect a chair for the remainder of the term that ends on December 5th, 2024, in order to overturn the original decision to hold the election. If you vote yes on this, then the vice chair moves into the chair role per policy 9220. If you vote no on this, then we will continue with the vote. We will consider the vote as it was voted originally. Is that helpful?
Yes.
Okay. Board Member Boozer Strother?
Could you clarify that this is, the previous motion passed for a new date, right?
Yes, but don't forget for this here, what we're doing is that we are going through 4 options for the board. And then the one that has the majority, 6 or more, that is the direction that we will go. So option 1, the one that had the change date, has 6 to 4. Option 2 has 3 to 6. So right now, option 1 is in the lead with 6. As we continue to move forward, if there's a higher count, higher than 6, then that will be the one that we move forward with. Did that make sense, Board Member Boozer Strother?
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. It's a little confusing, so I'm happy for everybody to ask questions so we could all be on the same page. Thank you.
Mrs. Adam Stafford?
No, 1 second. Mr. Briggs has a question. Mr. Briggs?
I just want to clarify that we only got through option 1. We had 2 days for option 1. We're on option 2 now. So just for clarity's sake, I think you said option 2 was less, but we are on option 2 now, right?
Nope, the second option that we just voted on, where we had a vote of 6 to 3, where you voted, was to adjourn this meeting today and to continue the procedure on August the 29th, which I noted will be August the 22nd, because I will be asking for that meeting to be switched so that we could get the transportation update.
That was option 2.
That was option 2.
And option 2 failed.
Got it. Okay.
It didn't fail. It has just 3 to 6. It's not failing. It's just whoever, but yes, to your point. Thank you, Mr. Whitley, for being clear. Yes, we will not move forward with that option because it's underneath of the 6. But for each one, we're going to count. So the one that is the most favorable for the majority, we will move forward with. So now we're on option 3. Is everybody, we good? We're moving to option 3. Okay. Option 3. The third option is to reconsider the vote on the motion to elect a chair for the remainder of the term that ends on December 5th, 2024, in order to overturn the original decision to hold the election. Again, answering this yes means that we overturn the original decision and the vice chair continues per policy 9220 into the chair's role in her absence. If you vote no on this, then we will continue with the vote as it stands, with us going through the vote tonight. Is there any questions on a yes and a no? Excellent. Mr. Fitzpatrick, if you would please call the roll.
Mrs. Adam Stafford?
No.
Ms. Boozer Strother?
No.
Mr. Briggs?
No.
Dr. Harris?
No.
Mr. Jackson?
No.
Mrs. LaSalle Frazier?
No.
Dr. Miller?
No.
Mr. Murray? Mr. Jungo?
No.
Ms. Walker?
No. I have 0 yays and I have 9 noes. Is that what you have, Mr. Fitzpatrick?
That is correct.
Thank you so much. We're moving on, colleagues, to option 4. The fourth option is to continue the procedure at this meeting where we've had 5 and 5 until this election is completed. Mr. Fitzpatrick, please call the roll.
Mrs. Adam Stafford?
No.
Ms. Boozer Strother?
No.
Mr. Briggs?
No.
Dr. Harris?
No.
Mr. Jackson?
No.
Mrs. LaSalle Frazier?
No.
Dr. Miller?
No.
Mr. Murray? Mr. Jungo?
No.
Ms. Walker?
Yes. I have 1 yes and 8 noes. Is that what you have, Mr. Fitzpatrick?
That is correct.
Thank you so much. I will just read option 1. was 6 yeses, 4 nos. Option 2 was 3 yeses, 6 nos. Option 3 was 0 yeses, 9 nos, and option 4 was 1 yes and 8 nos, and 8 nos. We will move forward with option 1. Is that what you have for your count as well, Mr. Fitzpatrick?
That is correct.
Thank you so much. Option 1, colleagues, is, let me go back to it, is to fix the time. We will reconvene on July 11th, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. to continue the procedure of the election of our chair. In the interim, I will, as the vice chair will continue to serve in the chair's role per policy 9220. Are there any discussions on this? Hearing none. There is no further business based on our reason for meeting today. The time is now 7:00 p.m. and the July 1st, 2024 Prince George's County Board of Education virtual special meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir. Yes,
the meeting is adjourned
until,
to meet
yeah.
on July 7th at 7:30 p.m.
No, July 11th. at
July
7
11th, I
Yes, thank
apologize.
you so much for that. The meeting is adjourned to reconvene July 11th at 7:30 p.m. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. All right. Have a great night, everyone. Bye-bye. Ms. Barton, if you can stop.